It is officially autumn. Yay! It's actually pouring it down outside right now and I've never been happier. Autumn is my favourite season, but to start off autumn, let's wrap up my end of summer reads, so everything that I read in August. If you're new here, my name is Gabrielle and I do bookish and lifestyle content here on YouTube, TikTok and Instagram, and I'm also an aspiring author. So today we're going to go through everything that I read in August, and I'm also going to pick some books to go into my September TBR, but it's going to be more like a September hopefuls because this girl's a mood reader. So grab a drink, let's get cozy and let's chat books. The first book I read in August was That Time I Accidentally Took Over the Mafia. And honestly, this book was like a fever dream. Until I looked back, I did not even remember that I had read it. This was one of these books where I saw a quote on either Instagram Reels or TikTok and I was like, okay, I'm going to pick that up. Our FMC finds out that she has actually inherited the entire Mafia through her 3 ex-boyfriends, who are now all boyfriends. So yes, it was a why choose. Sometimes I find it fun to chuck in a little why choose every now and again. They are fun, but they're cringy, they're not that serious, and it acts as a great palette cleanser, which I can confirm. It was a great palette cleanser because I was in the midst of the Zodiac Academy series at this point and I was like, I need something fun, cute, easy, and that is when my notepad of random books that I've seen on TikTok and Instagram comes in handy because they're usually always a great time. I know why chooses are not for everyone, and honestly when I'm reading them I don't really think they're for me either, but I always end up having an okay time with them. Let me know your thoughts on why chooses. I feel like they're a Marmite type of romance book, but I do love a Mafia romance. I do love a why choose palette cleanser, so it gave me everything it needed to give at this moment in time that I was looking for. I think this is an entire series of books, like That Time I Did Something. So I think I'm going to keep some of them on the back burner just in case I'm ever needing a quick, easy palette cleanser again, because it just wiped my brain. It wiped my brain, ready for the next book. Continuing on with my Zodiac Academy journey, I picked up the tandem read, which is Sorrow and Starlight and Beyond the Veil. Not going to go into too much detail about these books because it is closer to the end of the series. These are the penultimate books before the final book, which I still have not read. But I was told that I had to read Beyond the Veil by the Zodiac Academy girlies. And I'm glad that I read it as a tandem read. I don't think it was necessarily intended to be a tandem read because I felt a lot of the scenes were a little bit repetitive. Again, not going to go into too much detail. However, they were in different points of views from the main book, Sorrow and Starlight. So I found myself skimming a lot of the Beyond the Veil chapters because it was a tandem read. I was reading the scene and then reading it again. So bear that in mind if you are considering doing the tandem read. But personally, I would recommend that you do the tandem read because I don't know how you would be able to finish Sorrow and Starlight with everything that happens and then go into Beyond the Veil and basically go back in time and read the timeline again. Beyond the Veil is a shorter book than Sorrow and Starlight. I think Sorrow and Starlight was the longest book that I've ever read. I think it was like 1,200 pages, which is insane. That was a huge book. So I don't think I could have read those 1,200 pages and then went back and read another 500-page book. But I do think it's worth reading both of them. Actually, a lot of the point of views in Beyond the Veil I found really entertaining. So if you're on your Zodiac Academy journey, definitely consider doing the tandem read. I've connected with a lot of you that are in the midst of your Zodiac Academy journey like myself, and we're all in this together. We're going to make it through. I'm actually putting off the final book because I physically can't face this entire world being over. If you haven't started Zodiac Academy, this is your sign to start because this world is so intricate, so well thought out. Absolutely everything is thought of. It is Harry Potter level world building. Every single little thing is thought of and it's honestly incredible. While also being lighthearted some of the times, while also being soul destroying at other times. I'm not ready for it to end. Okay, the next book I picked up, I thought I was being very strategic because I was going into my birthday week and my birthday week was filled with plans. So I thought, let's pick up an easy 250 page romantasy read. This book was Once Upon a Demon's Heart. This is by K.M. Moranova, who I've read a dark romance before, but this was a dark fantasy romance. And my strategy went to shit. I was like, I'll get this knocked out at the spa, this will be easy peasy, and then I'll move on to something else. No, this 250 page book took me over a week to finish it. I know, 250 pages. I'm shocked myself. I don't know if I didn't love it because I didn't binge it. Maybe if I'd read it all in big chunks, then I wouldn't feel like this. However, I felt it was quite slow. I was sold on this book based on the fact that it was a time loop. So she was stuck in a time loop being killed by the same demon over and over and over again. She's like, why am I in this time loop? So she decides to do something different. So she offers herself to marry said demon to stop the war between the demigods and the demons. She is a demigod. I was really excited to go into it because I thought that sounded really interesting. But once we were into it, did this time loop come up? Not really. I do understand it was a 250 page book, so the romance and everything was very quick. It was almost too quick. I wouldn't say it's insta-lovey, but it was definitely not the enemies to lovers slow burn that I was wanting. I was ready for there to be no spice, no nothing. Almost zero progress apart from epic tension throughout this whole book, but if you're looking for a slow burn, this is definitely not the one to go into. I almost wish that I DNF'd the book, but do you know what? We're here. We've read it. It was fine. If you want a little spicy, dark romantasy that's really short, go pick it up because it's definitely short, but I felt like the story was just a little bit slow. Now on to my Unhinged read of the month. If you don't know, I have a book club with my friend and we do Unhinged reads every month. And this Unhinged read is a cult classic, if you will. Book Talk's Marmite book, but it is Credence. I think everyone in the rant knows what Credence is about. I considered reading it before, and then I was like, no, but we put it on our Unhinged reads because we heard that it was unhinged and people are always shocked when they read it. Was it that unhinged? I really don't think it was that unhinged. If you don't know, our FMC, her parents pass away and she goes to live with her step uncle and step cousins, so not blood related, and she gets with all of them. And this is not a why choose. So she does choose one in the end. I really question her life choices for the one that she did choose at the end. I feel the ending was really not satisfying. Although I was surprised by the fact that I cried. I don't know if I was just in a place where I was going to cry at it, but there was some hard-hitting moments in this book and I was like, I don't know why I feel emotional about this. I literally picked this up for unhingedness. Alas, quite emotional. It was also a slower burn, again, than I thought it was going to be. Although the tension was off the charts with one of the other characters. No spoilers, but what was she thinking? What was she thinking? And lastly, my final book of August was The Rose Bargain. I actually have this as a physical book. Honestly, I'm very pleasantly surprised by this book. This was YA. And I'm very selective on the YA books that I pick up. But I was sold on this because it said it was Bridgerton times The Cruel Prince. And I love Bridgerton. My dog is literally named after Daphne Bridgerton. Despite The Cruel Prince being a bit of a Marmite book, I also did enjoy The Cruel Prince as well. I love the fact that it was fantasy realism, so it was in 1800s England, but England has an immortal fae queen, which I thought was very interesting. So all of the girls that enter into the season, just like Bridgerton, they are allowed to make a bargain with the immortal queen, which was called the Rose Bargain. And a lot of the girls chose to enhance their appearance or give them qualities that will make them more appealing to a potential suitor. But this season, the prince is on the market. The plot was very interesting. It almost gave The Bachelor. So in my opinion, it was probably Bridgerton times The Bachelor times The Cruel Prince. It was very Cruel Prince style fairies. So very whimsical, very enchanting, but also just a little bit nasty. It takes a lot for a YA fantasy book to grab my attention, and I thought this book was such an easy read. It was very interesting. I was hooked and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was actually a very pleasant surprise for the month of August. So that is everything that I read in August. It wasn't my most successful month because of that little book in the middle that took me forever. So I did manage to read 6 books, but I'm also counting that as a win because the Zodiac Academy tandem read was like 1700 pages. So that's basically like 4 books. Now on to what I'm planning to read in September. The sun has actually just came out. What is with the autumnal weather in Scotland? Who knows? It's literally storming, then sunny, then raining, then storming again, and then we're sunny again. Now, I have got quite a few books that I want to get to in the month of September or just the autumn season in general, but I really would like to get through some of my physical TBR. Let me show you a couple of ones on my physical TBR and then I will get on to any new releases and Kindle books. So I have a few of my physical TBR that are just calling to me in this autumn season. The first one is Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. This one started out as a Hermione fanfic, which I believe was called The Auction. I believe it is going to be a dark romantasy, just based on the themes that are within this book. The war is over, the dark forces have won, and the hero who was supposed to save them is dead. After watching her brother die and her kingdom fall, Princess Bryony Rosewood is captured by the enemy, stripped of her magic, and auctioned off to the highest bidder. This is the character art that we've got on the inside of the book. It is giving Draco and Hermione, is it not? Also, what is with all of the blonde MMCs that we're getting recently? I swear in the last few months I have been getting consistent blonde MMCs. There must be something in the air. Next up I have this Proof that is coming out in October and it is Willing Prey by Ali Oleander. This is a dark romance. Let me read you a little bit of the blurb and you'll find out why it's calling to me. Drowning in student loan debt, Claire Collins is about to be made an offer she can't refuse. Spend 30 days indulging corporate lawyer Shane Underwood's primal desires in exchange for $30,000. All she has to do is give him the hunt of his life. Yum. That sounds fun. That sounds like a fun read. Next, I have one that I have been putting off because I literally have heard mixed reviews, but I started the Legacy of God series at the beginning of this year and I've been putting off the last book for a long time. God of War by Rena Kent. This is the final installment of the Legacy of God series and I had such a fun time throughout this entire series. But I've heard mixed reviews on this one which is making me put it off. It's also not a small book. It is 570 pages. That's a long book for me to maybe read it and not like it, but I feel it needs done. It needs done. I need to just complete the Legacy of God series on my shelf, if nothing else. This next one, I'm actually so excited for it. This is a motorcycle romance. And since I was a huge fan of Sons of Anarchy, I'm so ready for this. And I love Paisley Hope. I love her books. So I'm so excited for this new type of romance that she's making. The only thing that is throwing me is the male main character is called Gabriel. And I find it really hard to read books where the name is similar to mine, especially when it's the dude. But look at this cover. It's glorious. I'm really excited to read this. And the last one on my physical TBR that I'm hoping that I'll get to is Nightshade. My friend Faye sent me this for my birthday and since then I've been saying nothing but amazing things all over BookTok, Bookstagram, so I'm really excited to read this. It's also set in the Scottish Highlands and I do love a book where it's set within Scottish landscapes. It is a murder mystery style book, which I have a love-hate relationship with murder mystery style books. When it's done right, I love them. In its premise, it's giving similar to Enigma by Rue Nix, and I DNF'd that. So I'm really hoping that this just grips me. I feel like especially for autumn, murder mysteries are just such a fun vibe to get into. Okay, and now on to my Kindle reads that I'm planning to get to. Let's just jump straight into my Unhinged read for this month. We have chosen The Sea Witch. I believe this is an unhinged, dark retelling of The Little Mermaid, and it better be unhinged. I better be shook by what I'm about to read. I want to be floored. Absolutely floored. The next one I want to get to is Sky Shade. This is the 3rd book in the Lightlark series. Again, I started the Lightlark series at the beginning of this year. However, I pre-ordered the Grim and Oro book that is coming out at the end of September, which is Grim and Oro's point of view of the first Lightlark book. But I feel like I need to catch up on the series just in case there's anything mentioned in there that I haven't came across. So I'm planning to read Sky Shade before I pick up that book when it comes at the end of the month. If you haven't read the Light Lark series, again, it's another YA romantasy series, and I just love it. I just love it. It is love triangle, but it's love triangle done well. I don't usually love a love triangle, but I really love the Light Lark series. And then lastly, on my potential TBR, I've put quite a lot of books on this September TBR, but I'm just excited. I'm excited for the autumn season. The last one I have is In the Veins of the Drowning, and I believe this is a siren romantasy, and I love a siren book. Any siren book that comes out that has any clout behind it, that I've heard anything about, I will be picking it up. The stack of books that I want to get through in September is getting a bit out of hand. And that's also not even including new releases. I'm pretty sure Wildcard is coming out this month as well. My God, I really need to get on it. Tell me what was your favourite book that you read in August, and also tell me what is the book you're most excited to read about in September. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.